Hello, good evening and welcome to the United Stand. It will be Skype Goldbridge. It will be your opportunity to phone in as usual on a Monday night. But first of all, Andreas PEREIRA is very close to an exit from Manchester United. Jose Mourinho is willing to let him go to Valencia on loan for another season in La Liga. What are your thoughts about that? Because my initial reaction is no, please don't go. It makes no sense. He proved himself in La Liga last season in a team that got relegated. Going to Valencia, better team, but it doesn't prove anything. He was one of the top players, certainly in the top 10. He was in the top 5 for take-ons in La Liga last season. For me, if he goes back to La Liga, whatever club it is, on loan, it's just a massive indication that he's not going to be playing for Manchester United in the future, because he needs to play Premier League football. He's ready. He's done it in La Liga. He doesn't need another season in La Liga. It doesn't benefit him other than he'll get first team football, but it's not the right league for him. He is only 21. He'll be 22 in January, so maybe another season's not a bad idea. And I suppose you could flip it the other way and say if he's not part of Mourinho's plans, then it's better for him to be playing football. But what I'm sure, as I said before, I'm sure there's teams like out there like Southampton or Bournemouth or Swansea, as we saw at the weekend. I think he'd do really well for someone like Swansea. So, and it's Premier League football. We want him to be a Premier League player. That is surely the place that you want to go. Sam Thomas is asking in a very aggressive and abusive way where we get the sources from. Sam, I suggest you remove your head from your backside and read the papers and go online, because it's been on about PEREIRA since late last night and all day. So we're probably a little bit late reporting this, to be honest, but it is out there. So crack on, Sam. Sign Heskey, says Joseph Hand. Also, another little one that people might find funny. Well, I want to talk about PEREIRA, but maybe you want to phone in about that, so don't want to go on about too long. Richard Keys, the hairy cornflake. I know that's somebody else. He's come out and said that Bale to Manchester United could happen in the next 10 days. Drop it, Richard. You've had your time. You know what he reminds me of? He's like some pop star that's had their day. That's like Cliff Richard, if anyone can remember him. Exactly. You've had your day. Shut up, sit down and enjoy your retirement, which he is over in Dubai getting paid bloody loads with Andy Gray. But he knows nothing. I know you know nothing, Richard Keys. He knows nothing. No spoilers. He knows nothing. If Bale signs for United, it won't be anything to do with what Richard Keys knows. It's a total guess. He said in the middle of June that Morata was going to sign in 2 days' time. Never happened. He doesn't know anything. And if people say, oh, he got Pogba right, I think the world and his dog got Pogba right after Di Marzio said it was going to happen. Ashwari Napan has made a contribution. He says Jose left decision on him whether to fight or go. Interesting point. Very pleased that you made the contribution, but very pleased that you've made that point as well, because before we start taking the calls about anything you want to discuss tonight, because it's your show, it's unscripted, I just normally start off with something topical. There is also a counter rumour that PEREIRA was number 44. He's been given number 15, which is a massive indication that he's part of the squad. Would he expect to be starting the season? No. He's not on the bench. Could he argue he should have a place on the bench? Possibly, but at the moment it's early days. I see PEREIRA forcing his way into the Manchester United matchday squad. Certainly if he gets a couple of games in the League Cup, he's good enough to do it. I think he needs to back his own ability, and maybe Mourinho has said to him, look, where we are now, you're on the edge. You're right on the edge of my matchday squad. I believe in you. I want you to stay here and get some game time. Now, PEREIRA either says, yes, I will do that, or no, I'm going to go and play first team football in La Liga. It's a tough choice. I think he needs to stay. I think he's good enough. I really do. Okay, let's start taking some of your calls. It's Skype Goldbridge tonight. We're looking for a bit of passion. We're looking for a bit of opinion. Can be anything you want to talk about. We've still got a few days left of the transfer window. Nothing really developed since this morning. I was talking about Perisic, Lamar and Draxler. Nothing really happened with United today. Will anything happen this week? We'll have to wait and see. But get calling, give us your thoughts. Pratic says that Pereira's only got 1 year left on his contract. That's half true. He does, but we also have the option of another year, so wouldn't worry too much about that. Whiskey Boy Steve MUFC says Ryan Sessegnon to United. You know what? This is just another player who's been linked to us for about the last 18 months since he scored away to Newcastle. I think he's still about 12. No, I think he's about 16 or 17. plays for Fulham as a sort of left back, but he came on and played up front. He's a decent young talent. Manchester United could get hold of him. That'd be interesting. We're also linked to some Arsenal youngster as well, but I can't see that happening. Skype Goldbridge is the name. Skype Goldbridge, all one word. Get Skyping in. Let's take some of your calls. Dave B says Pereira's not good enough for Manchester United. That's his opinion. I disagree. And Luke Bedlington has got it. He's got it. He says, I think they've kept number 44 for Perisic because that's his number at Inter. Yeah. Shells HD says you should be banned from mentioning Perisic. He's just using us to get a bigger contract. I'm not so sure about that. Where's all the Skype's calls? I'm sure there's people wanting to Skype in, but I'm not getting too many people. We've got one. Let's see if we can get him on. Hello, can you hear me?
Hey Mark, yeah, I can hear you, mate.
How you doing, pal? You alright?
Yeah, I'm alright. How are you?
Yeah, good thanks, good thanks. Not too bad for a Monday. What do you want to talk about?
I just want to say about like the feeling around Manchester United at the minute. About like, I know we're only 2 games in, we shouldn't get carried away with ourselves. But if you think about the last 4 years, there's not been this excitement. There's not been that nice style of play that we're having. There's not been, the link-up play and stuff like that, which I think is really exciting to watch, and it's been a few years, innit, since we've been favourites for the title, I reckon. And I think it's definitely going to be ours this year, I reckon. And transfers and stuff, I just wanted to pull you up on Perisic. Do you really think he's actually still going to come?
I think I've got to be honest. I look and listen around, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if he signs a new contract. It seems to be going that way, but I'm just going to stick with it because I just felt that we would sign him. And I know, well, I think I can't say I know, but I think it's pretty obvious that he is Mourinho's first choice. I'd like him. I saw him yesterday for Inter Milan. Well, I saw the highlights of it, a goal and an assist. I think he'd be absolutely perfect for us, but because I think he'd be perfect, it probably won't happen now. But no, I'm just going to stick with it. I can understand why people don't think it'll happen now, but I am going to stick with it. I mean, I haven't got a clue whether it's going to happen. It's just a hunch. I've got no clue about anybody else. I don't know about you.
No, I don't have a clue. I think we're going to get Ibra back. I reckon he's definitely coming back, but
yeah.
Besides that, I don't see us being in for anyone else, I reckon. But yeah.
So
I was guilty a few weeks ago.
Go on.
Sorry. I was just going to say I was guilty a few weeks ago of being really critical about, do you know, like when people were saying, oh, Mourinho wins it in the first 2 years, always, and stuff like that. I was really critical about people who said that because you can't base winning the league this year on that. You have to put in the performances. But I'll be honest, I feel like eating my words a little bit. I really reckon league's ours this year.
Well, I was one of those people, although I did always quantify it by saying I'm basing it totally on stats, and I'm not a big stat person, to be honest, but I understood why United fans didn't feel we could win the league, because it is I'm only going to say that we're going to win the league because Mourinho does it in his first 2 years, but I think he's already shown there's a big difference between United last season and this season, because he's got a year. There's a lot of confidence. Mkhitaryan explained it. He said, look, the squad was really good. It wasn't that the squad morale wasn't good last year, it was, but something's happened over the summer that it's gone up a level again, and I think that has to come down to Mourinho. So I think we will. I think we can win the league, and I'm going for it based on that. But it is early days. It's really early days, and we'll just have to hope that we can keep it up, because I think it will be competitive, and I think there are some tough tasks ahead of us, but the way he's got the team playing at the moment, I'd be really, really confident. I just would like, I don't know about you, I would just like us to get another signing in. And I know Zlatan, I don't really class Zlatan as another signing.
Nah, I completely agree. I think we've had this thing for so long now with Perisic that if we don't get him, it's a waste of time, really. The last few months have just been a complete waste. But when you actually do think about the other options, like there's Draxler, there's Royce. Royce is a good 2-footed winger who's pacey. Fair enough, he might not be consistent with his fitness, but he's good. There is many options out there where you don't actually just need to go for Perisic.
The problem with, you mentioned it there, the fitness of Royce, he's actually out until Christmas, so he won't happen. But
but it says it all, then, doesn't it?
It says it all, doesn't it? But thanks for calling in, pal. A really good opening to the show.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Is it your first time?
Yeah, it is, mate. Yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
No worries. Really, really good call. And please do call in again.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, bye.
Ta-da. Good opening to the show there. Get Skyping in. It's Skype Goldbridge is the name. Warren Eels doesn't like it. Warren Eels doesn't like my stat. It's not my stat. He says, you're crazy. Why do you keep bringing up that Perisic was in the top 5 for take-ons in the league? He's not ready to put pressure on anyone yet. He needs another loan, in my opinion. Well, that's your opinion, Warren. Well done. But actually, being in the top 5 for take-ons in La Liga, when you think about it, for a player who was in a relegated side, was very good, because I could name 7 or 8 players that you'd think would be ahead of him in La Liga, i.e. Neymar, Messi, Bale, Ronaldo, Griezmann. There's bloody loads of them. Suarez, loads and loads and loads and loads. And he was in the top 5, so well done to him for that. Hello, who've clicked here? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Who am I talking to? Hello?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Pratik.
How are you doing?
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm fine.
What do you want to talk about, Patrick?
Yeah, so this is Pratik from Mumbai.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually I wanted to talk about my delight about the start of the season, of course.
Okay.
It's been a great start to the season.
Yes, it has, yeah.
Yeah, so actually I wanted to talk about the Andreas Pereira thing. So actually, I understand he only has a year left on his contract, right?
He has got a year left, but we've got an option of another year, so it's 2 years really. He has got a year, but we can decide to keep him for another year after that. So he's not going anywhere, if that's what you think.
Yeah. Also, like, I wanted to talk about the formation thing. Like, I tried to get through to you through the comments. So we wanted to get the 3-5-2 formation going, yeah, right. But now Jose looks for the 4-2-3-1 formation. So what's your views on that? Like, do you prefer 3-5-2 or what's the 4-2-3-1?
I think the 4-2-3-1 at the moment is working really, really well, because it's almost like a 4-2-2-2, because Rashford plays very high up on the left and Mata sort of plays where you'd expect him to play. I think I do prefer the 3-5-2 for the simple reason that you get better width. If we had a left wing back, we'd get better width. You get a balanced midfield 3 where you could have Pogba, Matic and Mkhitaryan, but then you get a front 2 as well, which for me would be Martial and Lukaku. So I was encouraged when Jose Mourinho said last week that he wants to play the 5-3-2, but he just hasn't got a left wing back to play it. So I prefer that. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I feel that we really lack width in the wide areas. Like, if you saw the starting 80 minutes of the match against Swansea, a lot of the times we had some space on the left and right, but our fullbacks weren't really bombing down. I think Blend is not really a fullback who'll get down the wings, and Valencia, he gets down the wings, but again the crossing is not really there. So we need someone like a Perisic or Draxler, who can give us that width and also provide us an option of crossing the ball instead. Lukaku can use his main strength, that is again bundling off the defenders and scoring. So I think we need width, of course. And the 3-5-2, of course, 3-5-2, as you say, it's a formation that cheats football. Yeah, it does cheat football. But again, 4-2-3-1 also a very good formation. Whatever the manager thinks is okay, right?
Exactly. I'm, as you said at the start of the call, I'm very happy with Manchester United at the moment, and I think that's the great thing. Everybody's buzzing, and the manager can do no wrong. But we've got to stay focused, and I'm sure Jose will keep us focused. And I just want us to go into this international break, beat Leicester at the weekend, and if we can beat them 3 or 4-0 again, and really go into it in a strong position, then everything's happy. I'd like us to sign another player, and I agree with you that Draxler or Perisic.
I think we also need a striker, don't we? I think that if Lukaku gets injured, maybe if he signs that's great. But in the long term, we need to sign a striker somewhere, because if Lukaku gets injured, and if we do so, okay, if we have Zlatan, then that's okay. But we need a striker somewhere in the future, because if Lukaku gets injured, and I don't think Zlatan's going to be there for a long time, so who do we fall back upon? Can we rely on Zlatan after his long injury issues? Like, he has been out for 8-9 months. So do you expect him to be back to the level he was on?
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to end the call there, and I'm going to put that to the live comments because I think it's a really good point. And thanks, Pratik from Mumbai, was it?
Yeah, it's Pratik from Mumbai.
Thanks
I've been following your page for long now.
Good. Well, I'm glad you finally got on, and a really good call. So please do call in again.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, pal. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
So let's throw that question because it's a good one. What do Manchester United do if Lukaku gets injured, and what is the long-term plan? Because I'll tell you now, I've said it a few times, there's nothing in the youth system striker-wise. We haven't got a Marcus Rashford there. We haven't even got a Will Keane there. We've got nothing in the youth system that you would dare put anywhere near up front in the first team. So we've basically got Lukaku, Rashford, and Martial, and Zlatan if he comes back. And long-term, that's not good enough. So something needs to happen in the youth setup, or we need to go out and buy somebody else. So I don't think we're going to be getting anyone this summer, but Mourinho will be very aware of that because, well, let's look at Lukaku from the last 2 games. Pretty much, 3 chances, 3 goals, and we definitely need that sort of input. Skype Goldbridge is the name. Call in and give us your say. Will Zlatan be as good as he was when he comes back? I think he will, because I don't think he was that fast when we had him last season. I think my fear about Zlatan is his lack of pace and movement. I think everything else he'll be fine. I think if you deliver the ball into his feet, he's very good. I think if you put the ball into the areas that Zlatan can do damage, he's very good. But he can't run in behind like Lukaku can. James Wilson works at Tesco's now, says Stephen Minton. God knows what's happened to James Wilson. I think he was probably injured, but yeah. I don't know what's going on Skype tonight. We're not seeing that many calls coming in. Remember to drop a like on the video for everybody who has called in so far tonight. Support your fellow United standers. Hello, Matthew. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
Yeah. I was calling to see how you felt about how Pereira does play in the Premier League, because we never really seen him play.
Well, exactly. You've just answered it for me. I can't remember him playing in the Premier League, to be honest. I'm sure he probably did. I remember him scoring a free kick in, I think it was the League Cup, in Van Gaal's last season, and he never really got a look in again. But I certainly think. I mean, what do you want, Matthew? Do you think he should go on loan and get games every week, or do you think he should stay and fight for a place at United?
Well, we saw him against, what was it? I can't remember. Was it Sheffield or in the last season in the pre-season? Who was it?
Wigan.
Yeah, you see him in playing pretty much the role that Matt has played, and he played brilliant then. And I would love to see that, but I don't think he's ready, so I think he should go on loan, but maybe to a Premier League side.
Yeah, I mean, I always say Bournemouth because that's my default, but having seen us play Swansea at the weekend, I could see Andreas Pereira in a team like that. I'm not bothered if he's in a team that's going to get relegated, because that's not the problem. As long as he's playing every week in the Premier League, I don't really care if he gets beat every week. It's about getting used to the intensity. I mean, that's what happened to him in the Liga. He was a very good player in the Liga, but his team got relegated. I just want to see him play week in, week out. I don't want to see him going to Valencia. I don't want to see him going to La Liga, because there's no progression in his career then. I don't really want him to go on loan, but if he's going to go on loan, I think he must come to a Premier League. He must stay to a Premier League club, and I don't know why. Fosu Mendes has had 2 games, and he's played 2 games, so that's what I would do. But I still believe he needs to be a bit patient. He might be able to force his way into the United team now.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, Pereira doesn't you've seen in history of Premier League, you don't really see Brazilians driving, do you?
What, in the Premier League?
Yeah, in the Premier League, you don't see Brazilians striving. So maybe ease him into the team. Don't play him in a Man City derby. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I think we'd have to start off with sort of League Cup games for sure. And I don't think he's a player who's going to get anywhere near a United starting lineup in a big game until he proves himself. But I just feel that the league, as I've said a few times, when the league really starts, when we come back from the international break, because you've got Champions League, League Cup and league games, and they're thick and fast then, and that's when I think Pereira needs to be sort of hanging around for and seeing if he does feature in the plans then.
Hey Mark, I've got a question for you.
Go on.
Who do you think's better, Martial or Rashford?
Well, I've never been quiet about the fact that they are my favourite two players at Manchester United. Look, I don't think it's a simple answer. I think Martial is a better finisher, and I think Rashford is, the harder worker, and I think that is why Rashford gets more game time at the moment. If I had to pick between the two, because it was I was the manager and it was my career on the line, I would go Martial at this moment in time. But ask me again in a year and it could change around. What about you?
I think Rashford, it depends how you think about potential. Rashford, probably the best player potential in the Premier League at the moment, but Martial is just amazing. You saw against, who was it in the pre-season, Real Madrid, I think it was, Sampdoria actually, when he just went past about 5 players and crossed it into Mkhitaryan or Rashford.
It was Real Madrid, you were right. First time.
That was you saw it against Liverpool as well 2 seasons ago on his debut. The comfort he went past Skirtle, nutmegged him and just left him for dead. That I think that just destroyed his career at Liverpool pretty much.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think at the moment definitely Martial. Where are you calling from, Matthew?
Calling from Northwich, about 40 minutes from Manchester.
All right, okay. Well, thanks for calling. First time on.
Kind of. I tried to get on, but they just failed.
All right. Well, you've got on there at the end. Please do call in again. Really good call, Matthew. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
Cheers, pal. I'll just try and take another one while we're waiting. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure, Mark.
How you doing?
Hello?
Is that Kenneth?
Yeah, that's exactly from Lisbon. I'm calling from Lisbon, Portugal.
Oh, brilliant. What do you want to talk about?
About Pereira, Andreas Pereira. I think he's a really exciting player. I saw him I watched a lot of La Liga games as well last season, and I think he can help the squad a lot. But we have to ease him in. But the season is going to be real long, and a lot of competition. So it's going to be a long season, a lot of games, League Cup, FA Cup, and I think he can really show his worth in those games, and he might be able to break through. And you'll never know. Let's hope not that first squad players get injured. But if they do get injured, he can step up.
Yeah, you made a really good point there. All people need to do is look at last season. And when we hit around March time and you've got people like Herrera and Pogba picking up injuries, big important part of the season. What's to say Pereira hangs at the club and he doesn't really get much game time. But then March, we lose a couple of players to injury because they're tired or whatever. We're in the latter stages of the Champions League. We're going for the league. And suddenly a spot comes up in Manchester United's midfield. Pereira's there. He plays the last 10 games of the season. Wins a Premier League title. And he's part of a team that's doing well in the Champions League. We've got to be patient. And I think Pereira's got to be patient. If he can hang around that squad long enough, and he is the player I believe he is, and a lot of people believe he is, his chance will come. And then he's got to grab it. I mean, I can't say for sure that Pereira's going to make it at Manchester United. But I certainly believe he can. I think he's just got to hang in there and make it difficult for Jose. And like you said, at some point, even if it's March time, his chance might come to get in the team.
Yeah, he definitely has the potential, but he's got to grind it out. He's got to stay focused, wait for his chance. And we're going to need, I think, almost every single squad player because I think we're going to go deep in all the competitions. We're looking good. And I would be really happy if we pick up at least one more player or maybe even 2 before the transfer window ends, because I really believe we can go deep in all competitions.
Do you think? Have you got any ideas, players wise? I know you said you'd like 1 or 2. Is there anybody that you think we'll get, or or you as in the dark as much as every other United fan seems to be at the moment?
At the moment, everybody's talking about Perisic, but that's been all summer long, so it's really hard. And there was a short period where people were saying Martial to Inter and Perisic to Man United. If we would do that, I'd be really pissed because, hey, Tony is having a great. I didn't even accept the fact that he was playing so little time last season, because for me, Tony is just a beast, simple put. So, but yeah, if we could get Perisic as an addition without losing any players, definitely. be good. Or Lamar as well.
Yeah, well, they're all players that are linked to us, and one thing's for sure, I think there will be some surprises over the next few days. Next few days. I just hope United are involved in it. Thanks for calling, Kenneth. First time on the show.
Thank you, Mark. Cheers, man.
No worries.
Take care.
And you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Let's go to the live comments. I was just having you know what I've just realised as well? I almost owe an apology to Everton Football Club because I do like Everton. And I saw their team selection earlier, and there's no Klasan, there's no Sigurdsson, and I felt Koeman had bottled it a bit. They're not at home. I thought they were at home. I thought they were at Goodison. They're not. They're at the Etihad. So you know they'll do well to get anything there today. I think City will probably win that. I hadn't realised it was at the Etihad. So yeah, a lot of people saying drop a like. Please do drop a like on the video because you're liking the video for the people who are calling in, who are your comrades, they are compadres. They are your fellow United standers. So give them that support and give them a back in. Skype Goldbridge every Monday at 8 o'clock and also on a Thursday. So yeah, get involved. Jared Harris says Pereira can give us the creativity off the bench we might have been looking for. Well, I don't know whether he can really, Jared, because there's a lot of people on the bench at the moment. That Martial's on the bench at the moment, isn't he? And Herrera's on the bench. So you can sort of see why Pereira can't get on the bench at the moment because it's very, very competitive. Obviously, Luke Shaw and Ashley Young played for the reserves tonight as well. City don't look very good, says the white man. And Mark, ironically, Pereira would be brilliant if he plays with Zlatan, says Andrew Hoare. I don't really understand why, but obviously in your head it works. Probably buy Pereira back for 100 million, so no sweat, says Scousers are she-males. I like the name as well. Look, Pereira's on a 2-year contract. Don't worry about that. 1 year left with an option to extend it. So we're not going to sell Pereira. It's all about what is best for Pereira this season. Mr. Miller says not many viewers tonight. Well, people are probably watching City. Also, when the season starts, the viewing starts to drop. I don't know why. But stick with the United stand. Keep sticking with us. We're not going anywhere. Mark, do a watch along for the Champions League draw on Thursday. I'm sure we'll do something. I'm not going to do a watch along. I don't do watch alongs for the Europa League draw, so we'll probably react to it. Mark, how do you think we'll play if Matic gets injured? Says Dope Venom with Fellaini in the midfield. And we should sign Aurier and Felipe Anderson. These two signings would make us complete, says 89 Classical. Willian is a good player, Tom Boone, and I don't think Mourinho has ever made any secret of the fact that he would like to sign him. But Chelsea don't want to sell him, so it's hard to get him in. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hello, is that Matthew?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say you're good.
Pardon? I think Matthew probably gave me some obscenity, but the joke's on you, Matthew, because nobody could hear you because you've got rubbish Wi-Fi. You need to get off that, the cord, the dial-up. You need to go and get some Wi-Fi. Contributions for Matthew's Wi-Fi. If you heard what he said, well done. I certainly didn't. Anyway, let's take another call. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, well, just wanted to say.
Hello?
Hi Mark, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Is that Gregor?
It is indeed, yeah.
Yes, great. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Just a bit controversial, I think. I'm loving the team without Herrera in it.
Oh yeah, well, crack on and tell us what you think about it, because I don't think it is that
I love him.
controversial.
I love him. I love his commitment. I love his passion for the club, but I don't think we'll win the title with him playing.
No, well, I think only a formation change is going to get Herrera into the team. That's what my thought is. I think if he sticks the same, where does Herrera fit in? Because you can't drop Pogba or Matic.
No, I totally agree. Totally agree. I was so against Matic signing. I was disgusted when they signed him originally, and I've had to eat my words already. You
and me both, mate. All I can say in my defence is, and I will argue this with anybody, that is not the Matic that was playing for Chelsea last year, not by a long way. And it's just another example of Conte and his bully boy tactics, because Matic was clearly told to just do a very restricted job, because what he's doing at United, he's playing like he's in his early 20s with freedom. He's moving around, he's running, he's dribbling at players. I know a couple of Chelsea fans. My dad's a Chelsea fan, and he said that, you know, if Matic was playing like that last year, we shouldn't have let him gone anyway. But you know, what a great player he is at the moment, and hopefully he can keep it up.
Yeah, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Can't fault it at all. Well chuffed.
What about, would you, so you've said Herrera there. I don't think it is controversial. I think it's, well, very, very popular player. Fantastic player last year.
Yeah.
Arguably our player of the year. But funnily, he's not the one being mentioned. It's Martial or Rashford, because I think everybody sort of likes Herrera but can see he probably shouldn't be in the team. But what about Martial and Rashford? Where do you stand on that?
I love them both. I think they're both the future, but you don't change a winning team. You don't change what's not broke.
So you'd keep Rashford in even against Leicester.
Yep, and then bring Martial on maybe half an hour to go this time.
Yeah, I think that's what Ross said last night as well. I'm all for that. I think let's not throw all our eggs into one basket. Like you say, we're winning. I think patience is the key. We've got to be patient in so many areas at the moment. Patient with Pereira, patient with Herrera, patient with Martial, and also patient with the season. We won our first 3 games of the season last year, and we still finished 6th. So patience. Yep. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I mean, in relation to the league, do you think it'll be different to last year? Do you think we can go from 6th to title challengers?
I don't know if we'll win it, because I think you've got to fancy. I hate to say it, you've got to fancy City to do well. But I think we'll be first or second.
Yeah, I mean, I do think we'll win it, but I think even, you know, as the first caller said, I think to say we're going to win it just because of a stat that Mourinho wins it all the time in his first 2 years, you can't base your hopes on a stat, although I do think it will be proven right. But a title race is a title race. You don't know what's going to go. You know, a refereeing decision over the season could stop it for us. But if we can challenge for the title this year, then I think that is absolutely massive. But when you look at the last 2 years with Leicester and Chelsea, it's not been close title races. They've got away and they've maintained that lead. And I think that's what Mourinho's thinking. He's thinking if we can get away, we're going to be hard to catch.
I think so. But all you need, as you said, is a bad refereeing decision, an injury to Pogba or Lukaku, and Rooney's just scored, by the way.
Come on. Doing it for United. Unbelievable. Was it a good goal?
No, crap.
But are they 1-0 up then?
Yeah, 1-0 up.
Nice one.
Yeah, what was I saying there? Yeah, all you need is an injury to Lukaku, Pogba, something like that, and we could be in deep trouble.
Yeah, well, that's why I would go and make a couple of signings. What about you? Do you think we will in the next 10 days?
God, I hope so. I really do. And it doesn't have to be a Galactico, somebody that you can have confidence that can come in if somebody's injured to take the place. Because I think Shaw's going to do well when he's back. We're covered okay at the back. So I'm not looking for a Galactico. I'm just looking for somebody that's going to give us that strength and depth.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. Thanks for calling, Gregor. Is it your first time on?
Yeah, I've been watching you since you had about 1,000 viewers, but this is the first time I've got the courage to come on.
Well, please do again. It was a really good call, and I never would have picked up on that. Very authoritative with your opinions, so please call again, and thanks for calling in.
Cheers, mate. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
With us since 1,000 subscribers, I can't even begin to think when the maths of that would be. 1,000 subscribers, probably about 2.5 years ago. Unbelievable that people have been with us that long. But I know some people might have only just joined us tonight. If you are new, make sure you click that subscribe bottom right hand corner. Fantastic community, the United Stand is, and we're not going anywhere, so stick with us. Matthew McFadden's made a contribution. He says, here's £2 to get Matthew off the McDonald's Wi-Fi and onto some decent Virgin internet. I think that second to last word's quite appropriate when it comes to the abusive Matthew. But there we go. Let's have a look what else people are saying. So Shrek scores, says Ikra. Oh, he's talking about Rooney. So Rooney's put United. He scores for United. In a way he does. Rooney scores against City for Everton. Look, this is another cherry on the cake moment if they manage to win tonight, because it's like everything's going our way at the moment, and if Rooney was to score the winner against City, it's very early days. that would be fantastically perfect as well. I still think Rooney leaving United is 100% the right decision, by the way, and I don't think anybody should think opposite to that. I'm just going to take the earpiece out for a bit while I talk to you, because I don't know why it started to really hurt. I don't know whether it was like leaking sort of electric shocks or something, but it was really hurting me. Rooney doing this celebration. Brilliant. He's got 200 Premier League goals apparently now. And Josie's at the match mark. Why do you think he's there? Says Iris XHD. Because it's in Manchester and he's probably got an evening off. He's living in a hotel, isn't he? So probably just thought, I'll go. There's plenty of spare seats. Go and soak up a nice quiet match. Jose's at the match. Yeah, we've discovered that. It was the right decision, says Gary, who's got an Everton sign there. It's the right decision for everybody. Remember what I said. I've always been quite critical of Rooney in the last 2 years, but I did say when he left to Everton, I would keep an eye on his career and wish him all the best. And it's going really well. Fantastic servant for Manchester United, and I hope it goes well for him at Everton. I'd love to see Rooney get back into the England setup. I think we just all got tired of the relationship of Manchester United and Rooney, and I think even Rooney was. So I wish him all the best, and I hope he does well. Rooney versus Lukaku for Golden Boot, says Ronnie Hoffman. I don't think that will happen, but all the better, all the better. We play Everton after the international break, mate, says Calvin. We do. We've got Stoke away straight after the international break on, I think it's the Saturday afternoon. And then we've got Everton at home. So that'll be a very interesting game. And I tell you what, Rooney will be pumped in that. He'll be flying into all sorts of tackles. So expect to get a few boos on Rooney. But we want, you know, you can't boo him for that. He scored again. Apparently Rooney scored again. No, he hasn't. He hasn't scored again. I think somebody was just saying he scored again in relation to he scored again for the second week in a row. Why are you not excited for Zlatan, says Kodark Cloud Jr. I'm a massive fan of Zlatan. For anyone who was watching the United stand when he signed last summer, I was a massive fan of Zlatan. Even those people who didn't want him, I said he's a goal every other game striker. He's going to do really, really well. I got tired of Zlatan around January time because I really like him. I really like him. He's one of the best strikers of the last 15 years. I got tired of him taking free kicks. I got tired of this I'm Zlatan sort of bigger than Manchester United mentality, which I would hate out of any player. It's one of my concerns if we'd ever brought Ronaldo back. Would he be like, I'm Ronaldo, I'm bigger than United? Don't want that. United are bigger than anybody. So I got tired of Zlatan taking the free kicks. I got fed up tactically of teams playing high lines because they weren't scared of the ball over the top. But he brings you a lot of other things, and if Zlatan wants to come back to United and be a sort of second backup to Lukaku, I'm more than happy to have him back. What cannot happen is Zlatan starts playing every week. If he starts playing every week, then we will quickly reform to what we were last year, and that is a team that struggles to score goals and is easy to play against. That's my concern about Zlatan. That game we drew against West Brom when Zlatan was, I think, suspended in March or early April. Perfect. West Brom park the bus in their own box, play Zlatan, because we don't need to worry about getting in behind them because they're already back in their own box. Against teams that want to park the bus, Zlatan's fantastic. Against teams that want to play the high line, he's ineffectual. But of course I'm going to take him back. I'm excited about him coming back because he's coming back for free. I think any club in the world would take Zlatan back for 6 months for free. I mean, obviously you've got to pay his wages. You'd be an idiot not to. I just hope that Jose respects what this great start to the season that he's produced and sticks back to that. Snap says, good call to Pratic, and I hope you call in again. Yeah, we've had some fantastic calls tonight, so make sure you do drop a like and back up everybody. This newbie says, Pereira should have been loaned to an English club to get some English league experience. He's wasted in Spain again. I agree with that. He's not gone to Spain yet, but apparently there's talk that Valencia's representatives are flying in to get the deal done. I don't see, it's not the end of the world if he goes to Valencia because he'll be playing every week, but what does that do for Manchester United for him to get another year's experience in La Liga? All it does is give a La Liga club an opportunity to sort of put an offer in next summer if he does well. He needs to play Premier League football because that's the league we want him to play in. We don't want him to play in La Liga. We want him to learn and understand the Premier League. Maybe Mourinho thinks he can't, but you hear different things from United. the latest one in the last couple of hours was that Mourinho wants him to stay and fight for his place, and it's up to Pereira. If that's the case, then Pereira needs to stay and fight for his place. Theon Curtin says Pereira should go to Southampton. That would be a perfect move. I don't know whether he'd get first team football at Southampton though, when you think about the players they've got. But as I said, Swansea, Bournemouth, there's a couple of other clubs he could go to. Newcastle, somewhere where he's going to play every week. West Ham are the perfect team, says Rory Byrne. Again, a bit like Southampton. I don't know whether he'd get in. I want him to go somewhere that he's going to play, but he might stay. I want him to stay. For me, stay. English or second choice English Premier League loan. Third, go back to Spain. So they're the options for me. Who would make a better manager, Giggs or Scholes? Says Verb Plural. I think Scholes. I don't know either of them personally, but I think listening to them, Scholes comes across as way more educated in his football analysis. When will he start getting into the first team at Manchester United, says Ikraj? Well, if Pereira decides to stay at United, I imagine he'll play in the League Cup in September when the games start to come thick and fast, and he's got to build from there. Sasanka makes a good point. Do we have enough characters in the team to get us over the line even on the bad days? Well, at the moment, we've got the spine. Get us over the line, we've got the spine. De Gea, Bailly, and whoever plays with Bailly, will it be Jones for the long term? I don't think you can say it's Jones for the long term. I think his record number of games in a row is something like 6 or 7. So Jones is not someone we can rely on. Who's going to play next to Bailly for the season? So Bailly's in the spine, Matic, Pogba, Lukaku. That's the spine at the moment, and you don't have to, you got Valencia as well as a leader. And there are other people capable of stepping up to the plate in relation to being a leader. Martial could be a leader if he gets in the team. Mkhitaryan if he plays every week as a number 10. There's a lot of excitement in that team. I don't think Mkhitaryan's played that well so far, but he's got 4 assists. I think it's scary that he can get better and better and get more involved in games. He was a little bit quiet at times against Swansea and West Ham, but he's got 4 assists. So I think he can get better and better. I think United are frightening. The one position United are a concern is left wing back. That's the position we need to sort out. I think Kyle Walker's just been sent off for 2 yellow cards. It's getting better and better for City. I think I'm going to have to go and watch the second half, folks. But thanks everybody for watching. This could be a cherry in the cake moment if City drop points. That would mean Arsenal have dropped points, Liverpool have dropped points, Chelsea have dropped points, Spurs have dropped points, and if City don't win tonight, City have dropped points. Our big 5 rivals already dropped points on us 2 games in. As I said, if I could define Manchester United's start to the season, it would be cherry on the cake. Not just winning, but keeping clean sheets. Not just winning and keeping clean sheets, but getting a +8 goal difference. On top of that, our sub, like Martial, sub in both games, coming on and being amazing. Our rivals all dropping points. Our ex-players, like Rooney, doing really well, making it interesting to watch the wider Premier League. Those who men's are on loan, playing both games and doing really well. It is if you could write the start to a Premier League season for Manchester United, it couldn't get much better than this. Other than maybe in the next 10 days we go and make a massive statement signing that improves us down the left-hand side. It could happen. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to drop a like on the video for everybody who's called in and for yourself on the live comments, because you've been fantastic and we did get to interact throughout, which is great. I'm going to go and watch the end of this City game, or the second half of this City game, and then Game of Thrones. Let's hope that they can hang in there. Speak to you all soon. Back tomorrow morning at 7 AM. And keep getting involved in the United Stand. I realise the viewers are starting to drop off. That's because the transfer, I nearly called them transfer Klingons, let's call them that. They disappear. Not real fans, really, if all you're interested in is transfers. You've got to, football's here now. Get involved in the football. Speak to you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.